Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. It's Tuesday, December 23rd, 2014, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Here are tonight's top stories.
Tonight, Rand Paul moves to demilitarize the police. Then, the FBI seeks to tie Ferguson rioters to ISIS. And the free speech war surrounding the interview. That's next on the INFOWARS Nightly News.
Tell you one thing, I've got every right to destroy the image of the so-called emperor, and I'll do it anytime I please. You understand that, you scumbag, New World Order filth?
New York City held a moment of silence today for the two police officers who were shot there Saturday by a lone gunman. Now, Mayor de Blasio and other politicians have called for a cooling of tensions after the officers were ambushed, shocking a city that has seen largely peaceful protests in recent weeks. Now, these same protesters who have been rallying for weeks rejected the mayor's plea to suspend demonstrations. Some organizers say the mayor's call for a suspension of democracy and the exercise of free speech rights in the face of ongoing injustice is outrageous. Now, de Blasio campaigned on a promise to repair relations between police and minority communities, and now he's being largely criticized by the police union, who says that he is being insufficiently supportive of police. And we reported earlier that the union sent out a memo to the departments saying that we are now a wartime police department. So what do you think? Is this helping the protests, helping the police relations there with the minority community? Basically telling them, the protesters, to suspend democracy just because one crazy career criminal decides to shoot two police officers. That's just like them asking everyone to turn in their guns because some mentally disturbed person decides to shoot a school or what have you. So you can't suspend democracy, especially when the issue isn't about being anti-cop. It's about calling for reform, and that's something that we've been calling for a long time here, and of course, the demilitarization of the police. Now, Rand Paul is planning to reintroduce a bill to do just that. The Kentucky senator is going to re-energize the debate in 2015, focusing on ending transfers of military weapons and vehicles under the Defense Department's 1033 program. Now, Rand Paul has previously slammed the militarization of police forces as stupid and ridiculous, saying that using the threat of terrorism as a justification is a tired excuse. Paul has said, it's supposed to be for terrorism, but try to explain to me when terrorists are going to attack Dundee, Michigan, or Fargo, North Dakota. And that's exactly what I've been saying. That's one of the things that I've been most pleased with these protests, is that now the 1033 program is right there for the entire nation to see. The entire country can see just what the 1033 program looks like. Police, your local police department, heavily armed, pointing guns at peaceful protesters from their military tanks, throwing chemical weapons at these protesters, chemical weapons that are banned for use in foreign wars. Now, everyone saw that, the country saw that, it was shocking, so that's why they had to send in the race baiters to swoop in and get everyone fighting amongst themselves rather than fighting against the militarization of the police, pointing out that why are the police arming themselves to fight the American people? And again, here we're seeing this after these two police officers were killed in New York. We're seeing the calls for a suspension of these protests, a suspension of democracy, because they want people to stop focusing on the fact that the police are arming themselves, are being armed to fight the American people. Now, just like they had attempted to demonize veterans and patriots, now the feds are attempting to link the arsonists and looters in the Ferguson protests to ISIS. That's right. Now, Steve Wigginton, the U.S. attorney in Southern District of Illinois, says posts on Twitter reveal an effort by ISIS to team up with not only criminals, but anarchists and sovereign citizens. He said, we received intelligence reports for law enforcement showing actual tweets ISIS was putting out, encouraging Americans to join the people who were burning down buildings in Ferguson, to engage that kind of conduct across America. They are trying to reach the people who are anti-government to begin with, and we have a number of those individuals in the U.S. Whether they are sovereign citizens, whether they are anarchists, they all showed up at one point or another in the St. Louis area in the last few months. And an FBI special agent added that homegrown violent extremists will use the Michael Brown and Eric Garner protests to launch so-called lone wolf attacks. And that's exactly what we saw happening this past weekend in New York. But this is what Rand Paul is talking about, using this as an excuse to justify the 1033 program, because terrorism. So they've got to bring it to the streets of America to justify militarizing the police departments. Now, some of the Ferguson protesters may be facing a lawsuit. Now, this is in the next few days. The Bloomington City Attorney Sandra Johnson expects to file criminal charges against the organizers of Saturday's protest at Mall of America. The mall went into a partial shutdown for about 2 hours as thousands of protesters filled the rotunda on one of the busiest shopping days of the year. The group Black Lives Matter chose the mall for its high visibility, but was warned repeatedly that it was private property. Now, the moment the chanting started on Saturday, officers locked down about 80 stores and several mall entrances. The city attorney is going to factor in the money that was lost to the stores, as well as the overtime paid to police, and she wants the protest organizers to pay. And police are now looking into the protest organizers' social media posts, as well as video from inside the mall, to see who was largely responsible for organizing those protests. So in recent weeks, we have seen a large corporation be brought to its knees, allegedly by the North Koreans. First, they were forced to negotiate with terrorists and cancel the release of the interview. But now also Sony has been embarrassed by the release of some internal emails, as well as employee payroll and health information. Now Sony has threatened to sue Twitter if it fails to stop users from sharing information that was hacked in the cyber attack. Now, Twitter has been sent a letter from Sony's lawyer demanding that any account sharing the leaked information should be suspended. And they also want Twitter to destroy any information that has already been published and prevent any further publication of it. So, of course, that is incredibly chilling. Here we have Sony negotiating with terrorists, and now they're inflicting Chinese-style internet censorship and wanting them to completely erase and destroy any leaked information that's out there. I guess they're going to have to wipe Google clean as well as the rest of the internet. So why Twitter? But now Sony, of course, backtracked on that decision to not release the interview. Can't let a good crisis go to waste. And of course, in this case, there's going to be a lot more money to be made now with so many people wanting to know just why the interview was such a big deal to Kim Jong-un, allegedly. Well, now they're saying that they're going to release it on video on demand, as well as in select independent theaters, including the Alamo Drafthouse here in Austin. We're trying to get tickets to that. Chairman and CEO of Sony Entertainment says, "We've never given up on releasing the interview." The chairman and CEO of Sony Entertainment says, "We have never given up on releasing the interview, and we're excited our movie will be in a number of theaters on Christmas Day. We're continuing our efforts to secure more platforms and more theaters so that this movie reaches the largest possible audience." So, of course, they cannot let a crisis go to waste. There is a lot of money to be made. There are probably going to be a lot more people wanting to see this movie than there would have originally, which, of course, only bolsters those people who believe that this hack attack was an inside job. Now they're going to be using it to get more eyes on their movie. And, let's hope that it really was an inside job, because do you remember this picture from last year? North Korea had Austin on the map. Austin, Texas was on the map. They were showing what appear to be missile trajectories pointing to American cities. But I highly doubt that North Korea has the capability of hitting the U.S., just like it is a country that has a really difficult time keeping its electricity on and its notoriously bad internet. But, of course, they hacked into a huge corporation and brought it to its knees. Well, coming up, we know that the trendies will do whatever is the latest fad. This time, apparently, it is eating bugs. But first, Fed Chairman Janet Yellen has been playing footsie with our interest rates, So we're going to go ahead and take a look back at the real message from the privately owned Federal Reserve about the U.S. economy.
Sold out for weeks due to the difficult and extensive proprietary process behind its creation, the exclusive INFOWARS Life Secret 12 formulation is now back in stock in the last limited shipment of 2014. The most bioactive form that has been created with our proprietary process. This ultra-clean vitamin B12 nutraceutical has been carefully crafted and developed over the last 2 years and is based on cellular science of how your body actively absorbs essential nutrients. Secret 12 is taken by mouth, right on the tongue, and then swallowed. No needles, no injections. Vitamin B12 deficiency is linked to scores of serious problems. And Secret 12 is a fusion of 2 organic proprietary forms of vitamin B12, bringing you a true nutraceutical quality vitamin B12. Secret 12. Secret 12 is an excellent Christmas gift and is tailor-made to boost your New Year's resolutions. Supplies of Secret 12 are very limited. Secure yours today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. 2015 is almost here, and with it comes those New Year's resolutions to finally transform your body the way you want it. There's a reason over 88% of New Year's resolutions fail. Make this year different by equipping yourself with Oxy Powder, the next level in cleansing the body naturally. Using super oxygenation, Oxy Powder, available through InfoWarsLife.com, gently cleanses the body while you sleep with easy capsules. Tens of thousands of individuals have used Oxy Powder to cleanse their bodies and aid in their transformations. Even InfoWars Nightly News Director Rob Dew has been using Oxy Powder with incredible success.
Took it that first day, and then I took it for 6 more days after that. 12 pounds melted off in about a week. I'd say a week, 7 days.
2015 can be different. Diet and exercise are important, but a lot of us have already tried that. Oxy Powder flushes it out. Secure your Oxy Powder at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
The top 1% own about 38% of the financial wealth of America. The bottom 60% own 2.3%. One family, the Walton family, is worth over $140 billion. That's more wealth than the bottom 40% of the American people. In recent years, we have seen a huge increase in the number of millionaires and billionaires, while we continue to have the highest rate of childhood poverty in the industrialized world. Now, a study which I've just introduced into the record by 2 professors from Princeton University, Professor Martin Gillens, and Northwestern University Professor Benjamin Page, basically suggest that while historically we have considered our society to be a capitalist democracy, we may now have entered into a phase where we are an oligarchic form of society. In your judgment, given the enormous power held by the billionaire class and their political representatives, are we still a capitalist democracy, or have we gone over into an oligarchic form of society in which incredible economic and political power now rests with the billionaire class?
I don't know what to call our system or how to, I prefer not to give labels, but there's no question that we've had a trend toward growing inequality.
I think the point that the professors are making and others have made is that there comes a point where the billionaire class has so much political power. At what point is that reversible?
It's an underground hideaway straight out of a Bond film. 200 feet deep with walls of reinforced concrete, 9 feet thick. The survival complex has 12 stories of underground apartments and luxury facilities, each floor costing $3 million.
A bad bet to think that the government's going to be there to save you.
If oil prices were artificially inflated by the Fed, well, so were stock prices and real estate prices. So all these bubbles are going to burst because of the same pin, which is the Fed withdrawing the stimulus.
So let's consider what happened during the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy in 2008. That's the one that sparked the financial crisis, nearly melted down the economy.